Lonsdale, Chairman of the Young Planning Commission. I call the meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. The time is 4 p.m. Staff, please take roll call.
Commissioner Richard Lomsdale.
Here.
Commissioner Robert Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner John Graber.
Here.
Commissioner Dana Allen.
Here.
Commissioner Ann Warman. Here. Commissioner Ashley Brooks.
Here.
And Commissioner Riley Helene.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, since the minutes from the June 16th, 2026 meeting was postponed, there's two sets of meetings for review. These will be approved separately. Has everyone had the opportunity to read the attached minutes from the June 16th, 2026?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I motion to approve.
I'll
second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The minutes from the previous meeting have been approved. Has everyone had the opportunity to read the attached minutes from July 21st, 2026?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes from July 21st.
For second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. Has everyone had the opportunity to read the agenda?
I would like to motion to make an amendment to the agenda.
Okay,
And that amendment would be to include,
second that.
oh, thank you. The amendment would be to include an update on the heritage zone, the zone 8 discussion as in our minutes that were just approved. Gary planned to meet in person with the 9 property owners to review the draft code before presenting it formally to the commission next month, which is this month. And so I would just like an update on that, please. That's my amendment.
so the motion is for an update on the heritage zoning that Gary Cooper had mentioned during the last meeting for the property owners and to get an update on the status of that. Is that correct?
Well, for us first.
Right, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Before it's presented to the city council. But to get an update for us on the update.
At this meeting, yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, so.
So should it go under unfinished business?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
Because
city staff communications as well.
oh. Yeah, I could go there too.
You want that under staff?
I would
Communication?
recommend putting it under staff communications.
Okay, because that was something he said he was gonna do, and it wasn't actually something that we were dealing, business that we were dealing with. That was just something, okay, so then would felt make more sense.
We are dealing with it. It was under new business, so it should go under unfinished business and I'll make that part of my motion if Ann
Okay.
second that.
He was seconding it, but I have a question first for staff. Do you have an update that you can provide us? Yeah, with Gary not being here.
Yeah, I mean, I can just dive into that. So
Not yet. We have to.
yeah, okay, yeah. Very briefly.
Okay.
So you are prepared.
Always prepared.
Okay, so if you're prepared to answer it, then do you want to withdraw the motion if he's ready to answer?
I need to add it to the agenda.
Okay, so, all right. All right, so, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, so motion passes. So it's going to be added to the agenda for next
No.
Okay, for today's agenda, excuse me. Okay. All right. So we'll add that under unfinished.
City staff
Okay,
communication.
so. Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay. So are there any conflicts of interest between any commissioner and an agenda? Did you have something so you wanted? Okay, between any commissioner and an agenda item? Okay, city staff communications.
I'll save mine just for the city staff communications. There's really nothing, but I'll elaborate on the heritage zone.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the commission? Okay, comments are limited to 3 minutes. Comments on matters listed on the agenda are welcome. Anyone wishes to comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
I'm Rachel LeBaron Anderson. I live at 16215 Palouse Avenue, over off Bansell Road. So the things I wanted to bring up today were after seeing the fires on the news in Spokane this year, I wanted us to consider as we move forward as a city, wider roads for fire breaks in neighborhoods as they're built to allow not only just for the fire break, but for the emergency vehicles to come in as the cars are evacuating if a fire were to come through. I want to consider having more parks within walking distance of new neighborhoods as they're being built, make sure that we're leaving space for that. Every neighborhood should be able to have a park within walking distance. I think that's really important for building community. And my other concern, I was recently talking about the oaks and I had put in some written words about the oak trees over on Vansell Road. But while we were talking about that within our neighborhood, we really wanted to save the 100-year-old fir trees as well that were right along the road. And I didn't feel like I had a tool for that because it wasn't part of critical habitat. But I really think that we should be saving some of our old canopies whenever possible. If there's no reason to take it down for a building, it should certainly be left or built around. It could be part of people's yards, part of entryways to neighborhoods. And I'm concerned that we're only getting short street trees. And those big fir trees are windbreaks during fires. They stood in the Spokane fires when whole neighborhoods went down. The fir trees were still standing. They slowed down the winds. They help with our fall storms. Otherwise, we'd have even faster winds. I think they're terribly important. So I'd like to see those preserved as we go forward. And then I know our town has a new art program. I'd like to see that incorporated beyond Main Street. So as we put in wider roads going to new neighborhoods, it would be great if some art could be incorporated in. I don't know how that would work, but just food for thought. And then my last item is I'd like to see almost like, I don't know how to describe it, ADU style little business spaces for starter businesses that aren't so expensive that we're only getting big corporate businesses, but places where mom and pops could get started. So if we could find ways to add that to our community as we're planning, that would be really helpful. Thanks.
And Rachel, just on note, thank you for being a voice in the community. I know that you're quite active on the Yelman surrounding area, so just yeah, but just I appreciate your involvement. So yeah. Okay. Staff, is there any unfinished business from the last meeting?
As amended on the agenda, we have a meeting scheduled for Thursday, August 27th at 6 p.m. with the Heritage Zone landowners. We met with one landowner today for a brief meeting about the code, how it's written, but we have not had a chance to meet with all of them together at this point. There have been, from my understanding, several conversations, but August 27th at 6 p.m. will be the main meet and greet and finalize the the draft that will then take to planning commission and then city council.
And will that be held in this room or is it over the community center or?
The August 27th meeting is primarily for those who own property there. And it's just at the public services conference room.
Commissioner Brooks, did that answer?
Yes,
the
thank you.
update that you were- Actually, before I get going, was there anything that could be addressed on Rachel's statement? I don't want her to leave her thinking, I mean, I'll be honest with you that unfortunately, there's some things that you've mentioned that we don't handle. However, this is a recorded video. The mayor watches it. There's a number of other folks, that watch it. Drew can potentially talk to where you were talking about the parks, that in some of the communities, the new communities, if I'm not mistaken, some of them include parks or, small areas that are designated to be put in. So as
Pocket parks though, right? Not the larger city parks.
true, but
Can I say?
Yeah.
Okay. I very much appreciated your comments because I'm vice chair of the Parks Board.
Okay.
And so I can carry that back to our next Parks meeting because I've been looking for a strategy to fulfill what is our plan that we've submitted for the comprehensive plan for parks of how do we actually execute that? Have parks within 15 minutes walking distance of each section of the city, each neighborhood.
Very interested. I used to work with Recreation and Conservation Board on some of the grants. So I'd love to talk to someone about that later.
I could stick around for a little bit.
Okay.
so. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm sorry, because I'm just, since she had the floor and she spoke, I just kind of wanted to address, I mean, I'm not sure what you want to address, but I mean, because, during that time has passed, so unfortunately, we've kind of moved on, but I just didn't want to leave her sitting.
Were there anyone else? Was there anybody else that wanted to provide public comment today?
Okay.
Sorry, we may have jumped that, but
Okay, yeah. Yeah, if you want to.
Finish with her.
Okay, but was that satisfactory on addressing some of your?
I
Okay,
can wait for kind of a summary at the end of the public comment if that helps.
okay, yeah, I'm sorry, if you want to go ahead and take the podium, I mean, because we're allowed up to 5 people to come up and speak, so I'm sorry. Would you like me to read, the 3 minutes, name, address, for the record?
Okay, yeah, my name is Judy Hickman and I live at 11505 Taku Lane in Yelm. I've lived there for 14 years, but I've been in the area for 36 and I just recently got involved and I don't know if you are the people to talk to or if it's city council, but I live 2 miles outside of Yelm. But all your decisions impact me greatly. I'm a property owner, I have a home and I'm on a well, and my concern is I see all this building happening, and the last time I had my well worked on, the person that worked on it told me my water level had dropped 35 feet since it was put in. So my concern is all the building, is there been any, like where's all the water gonna come from? I remember hearing years ago that it was limited, and I know the aquifers are limited, and so recently, they built the water towers on my house. I learned they're pumping it from across town. So that's one of my concerns. The other one is that I don't feel like you have the infrastructure for all the building that's being approved in such a rapid. The roads aren't built, the bypasses aren't built. I'm going to now have a roundabout. I think one of the first ones out on Vale Road. I live on Cook Road, off of Cook Road. And that might help me get to Walgreens once in a while, but it's not gonna help the big block up at 702, and it's gonna be really hard for me to get out of my road from now on. Because all that traffic's gonna be rerouted. So those are my main concerns. I like this place and I feel like I'm being driven out because I wanted to live in a rural area. And I know growth is inevitable, but I just would like the consideration and hear what has been done to research, first of all, the water. And what about the infrastructure that's gonna support all the, when I-5 gets jammed, I can't go anywhere because it comes right by my house.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Drew, do you have a response on the water issue?
Luckily, we have our city engineer here today, and I will defer to Reza to help answer that. So no, sure.
Thank you all. And my name is Reza Roker. I'm the city engineer for City of Yelm. One of the questions that we are dealing with is the water infrastructure that we have. So and we recently approved our water system plan. And part of the Department of Health requirement is to analyze all the aquifer and how is adding a new well or drawing water is going to affect with the aquifer. So we still meet the. I'm not sure the exact impact on your individual well, but we always meet the minimum requirement, at least the Department of Health, and require regulations. And the well, we have I believe that we have the new well is going to be on 640 property, which is in different aquifer, but I don't believe that adding we always look at to see whether what's going to happen to the individual, but we haven't heard anything so far that is the impact is so bad that we have to figure out something else, because our modeling and our simulation shows that it's the impact is within the reasonable draw. And so I would like to see, maybe look at in details on your property data to see what's going to happen. And definitely we can talk to our consultant to consider the impact and to see what's happened in your individual well.
But what you're saying, it's like pretty right, is that this new development's on a different aquifer than I would be out there.
So the thing is that it depends on where you live. You may be in different aquifer.
Possibly, but I did hear you say that they had just they studied that one to see if.
Yeah, so right now we are in the process of doing the modeling on the new well 7. That's going to be on 640 property. I don't know whether you know or not. So it's going to be at the end of Toma Boulevard. And so we are doing the simulation and the relationship with this aquifer and this well with other adjacent wells.
So they do that with each new development?
Not each development. They're doing, so what we do, we for each, what we do basically when we predict we have our population growth study, and we know how many people are gonna, or we expect for example, we are expecting 10,000 people or 200,000 people on by this year. So then we plan ahead to see, okay, how much water we need, and we start communication with the Department of Health and to see how much water we can draw, and if we require a new tower, a new reservoir, basically a new well, we act accordingly. So part of this development, not individual development, but all together, is considered on all of our planning.
I have a comment. I had understood that the housing permits that are given for various developments.
Yes.
Those housing permits, there is a quantity of those, and it's based on the water that we already have.
Yes.
And so we have to have, I thought that we have to have capacity to support the housing that's approved.
Yes.
But recognizing that planning, there's going to be housing approved.
Yeah.
That does not yet have the quantity that it may need. That's where your planning it comes in.
Sure. So there are two things. I mean, I appreciate that you mentioned that one. So we have the water rights basically, and the last one that we acquire water rights, we acquire water rights for example, for we still have about 4,000 water rights, which means that we can still develop up to 4,000 people, 5,000, sorry, 5,114. So we still can develop up to 5,000 ERU, which is equivalent to residential units. That number comes the last water rights planning that we did, and then so the population study is kind of separate from water rights. But what we do every time that we kind of look at both documents together, how much water rights we have and how much population growth we are expecting, and at some point we say, okay, we have to plan ahead. So, for example, if we only have 1,000 left, so that's the part that's okay. We expect this much population, so now we need this much water rights. So then we go and acquire more water rights, basically.
In response to the statement about the infrastructure and, you know, some of the traffic, okay, without getting it, I'm not the engineer, you know, or whatever, but just from some of the things that I know of, that there is some stuff in the process that should alleviate some of the traffic, especially like when I-5 gets shut down and it gets rerouted through here. So that some of the stuff in the future, probably in the next, 5 to 10 years, that will alleviate some of that. So it is being looked at, because that was always one of my big things. Yeah, I understand. I mean, I'm being.
They've been saying nothing about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I lived in Cherry Meadows when they built the first part of the byway. I mean, that was 2010. I mean, this is, you know, 16 years later. You know,
Before all the houses are here, that's gonna bring them.
I understand that, but it's just the approval for all that is done by a separate entity. But there are plans in the process to alleviate some of the traffic problems. I realize you've got the buildup and stuff like that, but at the same time, some of that helps fund some of the road work that's being done. So, but like I said, I mean, I'm not the one that actually gets into it. I'm just, you know, attempting to put a little bit of answer to your concern. So there is something coming,
I thought
but
that the construction was gonna be starting this summer on some of those roundabouts. That was the original.
that's not in our.
Which roundabouts are you in question? Obviously, there's the one on 702.
See there was a meeting at the community center. And we talked about all the summer, I'm not sure if it was there, but they taught school meeting. We talked about all these, maybe a year ago. And they said that the first one was gonna go in was a bagel, and that was gonna start this summer. And I don't know, I haven't followed it since then, like I said.
So WashDOT did start their 702 roundabout right there. It was at Hicks or the lake, right off 702. So that's the first one. It's a start. You're right.
It's like,
Yep.
why is it there?
Because of the fatality rate.
Oh,
That's the one where you have cars crossing, and if you put in a roundabout, it nearly minimizes your T-bone accidents. It's much more side swipes and all that. And for your comment regarding traffic in town, correct me if I'm wrong, but we looked at a STIP, right? We had our 6-year transportation improvement project, and they do the same thing. They look at housing and population density, and they look at all these intersections and rate them a level of service from an A to an F. And we already know we have several intersections that are Fs that we're looking at seriously. And then down the road, 2035, somewhere down there, there's several that are fail again. And the ones that are failing now and the future ones those are probably, I would say, our priorities to look at. So it is in the works. You know, it's something that city staff and everybody is well aware of it. You're right. We all live here. We all sit through the same traffic, you know, and I use my app and it's like, okay, I-5's backed up both directions. I'm going to tack on another 30 minutes to get home, you know, so I totally understand. Yeah. But there are things in the process, and Gilm Loop, I don't know if everybody is aware, it's supposed to go to it's supposed to be open tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Watchdog headquarters. So fingers crossed. So, yep.
21st.
Chair, do you mind if I just say a quick thing?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Thank you, Commissioner Bailey, for highlighting that. With development projects, they pay into what's called a traffic facilities charge, which is proportionate impact of their development to our transportation system. And we use those funds to improve the intersections as we get the funds for them. One of the highlights that I'd like to bring to light is the Longmire intersection, Longmire and 507. We recently did a intersection control evaluation to determine that a roundabout could fit and it will work there. So that's one that's going to be almost entirely funded through two separate development projects. And I do want to go back to Country Meadows just really quick. Thank you, Rachel. It's nice to meet you in person, by the way, after your emails. And so hopefully this eases some, I guess, just some nerves. And I know there's been a lot of public concern about this in the Oregon White Oak. The city determined that the application was administratively complete, meaning that they submitted the materials so we could start a review. As part of that, we have determined that an arborist report is also going to be required as part of this application. The report will be reviewed by the Department of Fish and Wildlife and will not move forward with the project review until that report has been submitted and that review has occurred. So I want to assure everyone who's raised concerns about the oak that those concerns have not been dismissed or resolved simply because the application was deemed complete. The oak issue is still an outstanding part of our review.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of the public process.
Did that help
Yes.
alleviate some of your concern a little bit? Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to take?
More to say about my comments. We kind of went a different direction.
Sorry, forgive me. I can't remember there was a lot to unpack there. But I'm happy to attempt, and if not, I can follow up.
My notes of you.
Yes, please. Thank you. But I will, maybe not in this meeting, because we have some other things on the agenda. I don't want to take too much time, but I do sincerely appreciate your input, and we'll absolutely be in touch.
Okay.
Okay. If there's no further public comment, we will move on. New business.
I'll pull up the PowerPoint here.
Thank you again for having me today. My name is Reza Rukher. I'm the city engineer for City of Yelm. Today I'm here to present private landscaping and buildings enhancement. So I'm here mainly to present some of the challenges that we have in landscaping and maintenance, and hopefully I
Take your time. What specific challenges would you like to cover?
And hopefully hear from you if you have any comments that or want to add any other languages to the code that I'm bringing on either September or these are the content that I'm bringing today. the main objective of this code update is basically to have a clear enforceable rules for staff and residents. We have a lot of confusing about the residents, who's going to maintain, what should I do, how should I do. And these are some of the specification. It's just not clear in the code that it would be easier for the residents at least and our code enforcement to say, okay, this is the code, this is what we require, this is what we expect to see. So then we can forward it. And by adding this language, we're hoping to have a safer pedestrian and vehicle access and basically ensure to have a community safety and environment. And so I kind of explained a little bit about why we want to amend the code, and mainly it's going to be 18.52, 55, and maybe 57. So in the landscaping portion, as I explained, we have some gaps, like the existing code lack clear maintenance guidelines, and there's no maintenance timeline for pruning or basic plant replacement. And planting requirements near the utility line or the light pole or a driver is not defined properly. And I just have the code for the maintenance of landscaping that we have right now in 18.55.060. If you want to look at it, I just pause.
I got a quick question. I don't know if it's going to fall within this purview or not, but I always understood that there was a certain regulation for a setback law from like plants and trees from a roadway that would potentially block view. I think we were talking beforehand, like when you pull up next to a driveway, like on a corner, to be able to see oncoming traffic. That, there's been different instances that, you totally can't see.
That's part of this. I mean, I'm hoping that's going to be covered under this, because I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I took. So it's kind of showing why we have problem and then what's the problem. And then maybe the picture that I have in this PowerPoint doesn't kind of present that specific issue, but yeah, that was part of the thing that I was thinking about it. It's okay, we probably kind of tackle at this point as soon as possible. Because maybe the next season we have a better understanding of language.
I just have a question. You had it on here, but in the background, there's no maintenance timeline for pruning or plant replacement that I see.
The next season.
Yeah, where it says plant the next.
I kind of looked at it and I said, it shouldn't put it there, but I think I need to add more language in terms of the pruning, not the replacement.
We did have a question from Dana as well. Dana, you have a question?
Yes, is this intended to apply to just new developments or to the city as a whole?
For the city as a whole.
Okay, because it's hard to tell them to comply with an approved landscape, and proposal should probably be the plan, if there wasn't one.
Yes, so the planting part of it is yes, as you mentioned, that is for the new development. So
okay.
Yeah, but so by planting means if you have any utilities and if you have a light pole, so if we have new development, then it means that they have to follow the new rules or the new setbacks that we want. But for the old subdivisions, the ones that we have the approved landscaping, they have to follow the exact landscaping, unless I'm envisioning that if we have the problem that we didn't have, so if we have the problem, like we have the trees next to the at the corner that blur and we didn't catch it at that point. So we can deviate under certain circumstances, and I don't have the language on right now, but I'm thinking that we have some language that, okay, under certain some circumstances, if we have a written permission from the city, they can deviate from the approved landscaping plan because of this criteria that we define in the code.
Okay.
You still
Yeah.
address it case by case basis.
Yes, in some cases, so the pruning regulation is kind of for every houses, every landscaping that we have. But for planting or some of the setbacks that I want to introduce is mainly for the new development. And for some cases, if we have some problem, for example, it's blocking the light or blocking the view or at the intersections. So in those circumstances, we just require either if the tree is dead, basically. I'm thinking not necessarily, okay, if we have a tree there, it's caused a problem. Now we have a new code. Now it's your responsibility to remove the tree. No, we don't want that. We work with the homeowners if there is a dead tree and they have to replace the dead tree. So we consider that situation and if to see if basically case by case on that those situations that okay, it's dead tree and you have to replace it, but it has the problem before. So you can just avoid planting the tree or maybe replace it with some shrubs or shorter plants to just kind of mitigate the problem.
I'm sorry, another quick thing. Is this going to include, especially in some of the areas that were just recently annexed, like on Clark Road, to where you've got, and actually some on the main drag, to where you've got some of the vacant properties where there's nothing built on it, but they're like really overgrown, but they're a fire hazard. Is there going to be that they're going to be required to keep it like in a certain height or, mow it once a year or something like that?
That's a good question. I didn't envision to put it in this round of code updates because usually those things can be cut by the fire department, and we have that process that if the fire marshal decided that caused the fire, it's a fire hazard, so we can enforce it through that kind of pass.
Okay. Especially with the fires now going on. So, okay. Thank you.
I went outside to the city and took a couple of pictures. As you can see, for example, the picture on the right, the tree wasn't pruned, and the picture on the bottom right it's me between one of the branches. So if you are walking in the sidewalk, you have to kind of bend to just pass in some areas. So these are the things that we have the code. Basically, we are saying that in current code, we are saying that, okay, the homeowner is responsible to maintaining the right of way, but the code is not clear when we are talking about the pruning, okay, how high we want to be, or if it's encroaching, what does it mean? If we are talking about private landscaping, which we have a couple of them. For example, the one, it's kind of hard to see, but the one here in the middle right. So that's kind of blackberry bush that from private property goes to the sidewalk. That's on the sidewalk. So some of the pictures that I have, it's not maybe shown the major they doesn't show the major problem that we have, but some of them which I'll move forward with.
I think Dana might have a question too. Hey Dana, do you have another question?
Yeah, sorry, just on these pictures, is it clear that the street trees are responsibility of the property owners?
So current code, if I go back to current code,
Oh, this is current code.
this is the current code.
Ah, okay. Yes, no wonder you want to update it. Okay, got it.
It's kind of, yeah. So one of the kind of exaggerated example is this example that the shrubs basically blocking the sidewalk right now.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see the sidewalk. Okay, yes.
Yeah. Again, we somehow have the code somehow to enforce it, but it's going to be difficult because the code is not clear. So now it's going to be interpreted by us, and we have a hard time to define it. And maybe sometimes the homeowner doesn't, because that shrubs and that tree is in the right of way. So it's sometimes it's a little bit difficult to explain, or the homeowners have a hard time to say, okay, can I touch it? Can I prune it? What's the requirement? So those are the things that we try to resolve in this round of code changes. And aside from the sidewalk, it also can cause problem on the street. So if it's not pruned on the street, you're going to have a lot of problem. One of the complaints that we received recently, especially from the intercity transit and Lime trucks. So because as they're passing, because these are the height of the truck is higher than the usual of the cars, so they can, the shrubs kind of scratch the cars. As you can see, I took a couple of pictures to show you some of the trees. We have some problem. So these are some of the examples that I showed here. Is maybe it's not pruned because they didn't have any problem for the parking, so they park on the other side or where they can, so they can avoid it easily. But still, it can cause a problem, especially in our main streets. And one of the language that I want to add also to or setbacks of planting in regard to hydrants. So even though the business owner prune the area around the hydrant, but still, if the firefighter wants to access the hydrant, they have to go through the bushes to access the hydrant. So these are kind of, we try to kind of define, okay, this is what we are expecting, and we want to, and also in terms of the sidewalk and the driveway, that's kind of different. I mean, I bring it here because we planted trees very close to the sidewalk, and we may not have root barriers, we might have different things, and also, as you mentioned, that is also blur, so you can't see, so you have to go to streets before you can see to turn. So in terms of driveway maintenance, we don't have any code right now. We don't have any language in our code. And if there is an abandoned driveway approach, or so there isn't any language for that one either. So I just bring the code, which is the entire driveway requirements, but this is not driveway maintenance. So some of the problem that we see in the driveway is basically the main problem that we have is that there isn't any language in the code showing that if the driveway is damaged, who's responsible for maintaining that? Because the driveway, because only the homeowner is the only beneficiary of the driveway approach. So we are expecting that the homeowners, if there is a damaged driveway, they are responsible for that one. The main factor that I want to add is that most of the driveway approaches maintenance requirement is because of the safety hazard. So if the sidewalk is part of the driveway, and if it's damaged, then we're going to have a problem. So because the pedestrian are using the driveway, basically part of the driveway. So that's. And also, I mean, as you can see here, there are utility boxes there that they need to maintain. And if for any reason that the driveway approach is settled or something happened or cracked, so they are responsible to maintain as you should. One of the other problem that we have is that the overhang, basically, that I can give you 1,000 picture or 1,000 example that, which is, mainly we have problem with the RVs that they are overhanging to either the sidewalk or the streets. We just want to define a clear language that this is not the acceptable behavior, and this is what we are expecting, that if you have a RV, so you can park it on the street, we have the code for that, we accommodate that. And if you cannot park, if you park in the driveway and it's overhang, that's not going to be acceptable.
I'm sorry, I got a quick question again, back on the other slide with the utility box.
Yeah.
And did you say that the maintenance on the utility boxes, where this one here is down 2 inches, is it the resident's responsibility to repair that, or is whoever's responsible for that utility box?
So utility box itself, if it's damaged because, so it's city's responsibility for the utility box. But if there is if the damage because of the driveway damage or because of the root of the trees that damage the box, is property owner responsibility.
Okay, so that'd be kind of on a case by case.
Case by cases, yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question, Meg.
Yes.
Please.
A question. For the annexed properties
Yes.
that have been brought into the city,
Yes.
that have not had requirements for sidewalks or for landscaping.
Yes.
These are places that have been here quite some time.
Yes.
Does that mean that these new requirements for how landscaping is done are going to be imposed retroactively?
So
I should just qualify, I don't live in the city, so
Yeah.
it doesn't apply to me, but I have friends who do.
No, I understand. So if there is a sidewalk, even if it's at the county, I believe that there's the language in the county that who's going to be responsible for the sidewalk. So it's the way that we are, if they annex to the city, it's kind of the same thing applied to them. I don't think that's going to be a new code for those cases.
I'm talking about the trees, the bushes that may be alongside the roads
Yeah.
and such that need to be trimmed.
Yes, because one of the problem with is trimming tree. If they don't trim the tree, that causes a safety hazard. One way or another, we have to. But in some cases, if the trees, it's really case by cases. But in some cases, specific cases that generally cause safety hazard, and we just announced that, okay, this is the safety hazard, then yes, the homeowner is responsible. It's going to be responsible regardless whether it's a new tree or old tree, or it's a new annex or annex.
Most of those areas that are recently annexed don't have that kind of infrastructure anyway.
But they do have high grasses on the embankments that are right next to the road.
Yeah.
And my friends have stated they're concerned that the county used to maintain that, to cut all that grass
Yeah.
on a regular basis. And it sounds like that it's going to be a requirement that they assume that responsibility.
So because the current code requires, regardless, it's new annex or it's already annexed, to maintain the landscaping in front of the property in right of way. So if a property annex, it's already kind of considered that they have to maintain regardless.
They may not
Change is not going to change that.
but they may not recognize that as
That's
the county used to do it for them.
No, I understand that part, and we have problem. It's not. You saw the pictures as I showed. So some of them is not clear. That's why we want to strengthen code kind of first, and then start with the education and outreach to make sure that everyone understands what's the responsibility was, and that's it.
So with these these code adjustments, will we do an open house and we'll invite people from the annexed groups to start to understand what's being clarified?
We can, I didn't envision that we need, I mean, definitely we're gonna have public hearing. But aside from that, I don't think that for this code changes specifically, we're gonna have open house, but the next open house we have, we can add something like that, okay, landscaping maintenance in general. That's a good idea. Actually, we can, to that part of kind of education and outreach that we are expecting to have in regular basis.
Good idea.
Yeah, it is a good idea. Thank you.
I have one other question. You had mentioned about, street trees.
Yes.
Being trimmed up, and I understand totally being trimmed up so people can walk.
Yes.
That makes, but you had also mentioned RVs. Well, I have a motorhome, and
Yes.
if you had to trim up a street tree so that I could park my motorhome, that tree would, considering the size of some of these trees, you'd be like a topper, It'd be.
That's what we have to figure out, because I understand. I mean, most of the trees, even on the cities that we have, are very small trees, and so we are expecting basically from the curb, if we just have a ruler and just cut all the way, yeah. So, and how it's going to impact the tree itself, that's a good question. I don't have the answer right now. But what we require, or what we have to require, part of the at least the main estate, so we can maybe have different code for different area. So our main complaint is the Lime and intercity transit, when they're in the city, they have problem because they have to go all the way to the basically the curb to either pick up the passengers or have it pick up the trash. Mm-hmm. So those are the ones that basically the tree is gonna impact them. So that's the problem that we see. So that's a great one. Yeah.
Or you could put up a sign, RVs and motorhomes over 30 feet long can't park. They're 35 feet apart.
I mean,
the trees are,
Yeah, the height that we consider is mainly the buses and the Lime truck, basically. So that's when I go to the proposed code changes, I mean, you can see the height that I presented, basically. But that's kind of that's a good thing that we want to. That's why I wanted to add the code that, okay, what's the height, so everyone can go and measure it. Okay, this is what we expect. This is what. So that's kind of easy for everyone to understand.
Well, this is a draft, right? You obviously nothing in here is set in stone. This is the direction you're heading.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
Right.
I can jump to this, the kind of the proposed code changes. So one of the problem that we see in some of the development that we have is that we don't have any specific requirement for irrigation. We don't require the irrigation for any landscaping. What we require to have to maintain the trees. So how they maintain it, so for some cases it's really difficult. Sometimes because the irrigation system is costly, so some prefer that they go with the hose and in the trees. So if they can maintain the tree, that's great. So I'm presenting this code changes that it could be changed, but to have some sort of water source relatively close to the landscaping, so we know that, okay, that's manageable, that's achievable in terms of say, okay, you don't want to do it, you don't require, you're good to go. So that's why we want to add some language. Okay, within 50 feet, you have to have some spigot or faucet that you can use for the irrigation if you don't want to have actual irrigation system.
So if I have a yard that's 100 feet
So it's mainly for right of way landscaping.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So say my yard is 100 feet long from my house. My closest hose bib is at the front of my house.
So
And then if that property adjuts a piece of a roadway, then that landscaping up there is my responsibility. Am I supposed to put a hose bib within 50 feet of that?
So this is what I envisioned when I put it there is for the new development and mainly for the businesses, not the, because if you are talking about the new subdivisions, so they have to have irrigation system because most of them they cannot, or some of them because for the new subdivision at least what I see, I mean I can change the code a little bit to kind of accommodate the house. I mean that's a good example. I didn't think about that one. But the new houses that we have, they have a 20-foot setbacks and they have some sort of water faucet outside that basically relatively easy to irrigate the trees.
And one other thing is, will be maintaining the look of the property. Are you suggesting that during the summer, people should be irrigating their lawn?
No.
No, okay.
No, so we want to maintain the landscaping. So landscaping includes, it's a very so it includes trees, grass, and everything. The grass comes back, so you basically you maintain it. So we're fine. What trees? The main problem is the trees and the shrubs. No, that's not going to happen. So that's kind of our concern. So this is the clearance that I mentioned. So we are thinking about 8 feet on the sidewalks and maybe 14 to 18 feet on the roads, and depends on the road classification. So if you're talking about Yelm Avenue, we have a bigger truck, then that's different than if you're talking about the local access residential. That we don't expect many trucks.
But regardless of the road classification, you're still going to have garbage trucks, which are still going to.
That's why the minimum is 14.
Minimum 14, okay.
Yes. And also, I mean, I mentioned here that we want to have a clearance from the signs. Part of kind of, we can also add new language about the intersections. So this is one sample of language that still I'm going to work through, and it's not going to be exactly the same on the final draft, but it's kind of a sample language that I'm thinking that I'm kind of bringing to the code changes that I want and present it to you. So for generally speaking, for it's basically for the setbacks for the trees, mailboxes, utility poles. And other structures.
Commissioner Allen, did you have a question?
Yes, on this slide, just a comment on the second bullet point from the bottom. You know, we do want to maintain the clearances from utilities, but I also don't want to take liability for what the utility might need, and their needs might change. So I wouldn't want someone to think, oh, I'm 5 feet away, I'm good, but then, PSC, they change their requirements and all of a sudden they need 10 feet or something. So if nothing else, like a reference to check with a local utility provider for that kind of thing.
I mean, they can always have more strict regulation than us, of course. So if you are saying 5 feet and PSC asks for 10 feet, so that's different story. So we always have to follow that.
Right. It's just, I don't know,
this is kind of a minimum requirement that we're presenting.
Right, but I just wouldn't want someone to read this, think they're covered, and then forget to actually check with the actual utility. I know it's not really the city's responsibility, but trying to make it cover bases, that's all.
This is the proposed code changes for Drive-It. For Drive-It, the main purpose is just to clear who's responsible for the driveway. When you're designing the driveway, we also have to figure out, okay, and it shouldn't require backing into sidewalk or streets, except in designated central business zones, or create your driveway create a hazard to pedestrian, cyclists, transit vehicle, or other responders. And also, if there is an abandoned driveway, so we have a couple of abandoned driveway on because the future or they demo the house, but there's abandoned driveway, so it's not clear, okay, whether we expect to remove it, not remove it. So that's going to be added to the new code. That's going to be required that if you are demoing the house, or if it's basically if it's abandoned driveway, you have to remove it.
So when you say drainage structures, catch basins, manholes, so are you expecting me to hire a Vector truck to come in and clean it out, or just around it?
You're talking about the last bullet?
The last bullet, yes.
No.
Okay.
So it's not the maintaining of the structure itself. It's not the using Vector to maintain the stormwater per se. It's the maintain of the structure itself. So if the structure is in your driveway, and for any reason driveway damage, and that damage caused the damage to the structure, so we don't want to see that. So that's kind of the idea of this code changes.
Okay. Question in the back.
Yeah, my question is on the utilities. When you said trees couldn't be within 5 feet of utilities,
Yes.
are the trees existing already grandfathered in, or will this lead to a whole bunch
Yeah,
of trees being
I
removed?
mean, you don't expect me to talk to it now. No, I mean, so the thing is that, unless if they damage the utility that we have.
Okay.
We don't
That needed to be.
that needs to be cut, but otherwise, we're not gonna move the trees. I mean, it's already there. These are mainly for planning and design. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again.
I do have a question, actually. I was waiting for the question slide to come back. Thank you for the presentation. My question is, how much of these code updates were complaint driven or review driven? And in those reviews, did you look at comparable cities? Neighboring cities?
Yes, I did. So I'm still reviewing the other cities to see how they handle this the maintenance. And I searched a couple of cities, not many cities. That's why I was thinking that okay, as we go, I'm gonna search more. At least I searched, I believe 4 or 5 cities for these purposes, and I saw that similar language that they have. Some of the language that I have here is basically kind of copy paste from them. And so in terms of complaint driven or review driven, I think that is almost 50%. The last question I forgot, sorry.
So you used the one question you did in both halves. Yes, thank you. Could you name the cities that you looked at?
So so the cities that I look at I believe that I look at Olympia and I look at Auburn, Olympia, Lacey, Tumwater, and Tuckerville.
Real quick question. Regarding sidewalk maintenance, not driveway, not landscaping, is sidewalk maintenance property owner responsibility or is it city responsibility?
So it's very complicated cases. So mainly our current code is made that the sidewalk maintenance is the city is responsible for maintaining the sidewalk. But the major problem that we have right now for the sidewalk, they're boggling because of the root trees.
See, okay,
So that means that okay, the homeowner is responsible for maintaining the trees. So that's kind of
yeah. Thank you.
Last question.
yes.
What are next steps for you?
So my next step is that so I'm gonna draft a code language, and I'm gonna present it. Hopefully, I'm thinking probably October, but if not, it's gonna be in September.
Here? Or
Yes.
straight to the council?
No, it needs because it's code changes to chapter 18. It needs to come here for your approval, and then if you approve it, then it goes to the council.
Thank you. Were you covering the overview of the code change table, or are we just?
Yes, sir. I'll do a quick one considering I don't know how to set the alarm in this building and we're about 15 minutes or 10 minutes past. I do want to show you, I believe it's in your packet there, but up on the screen, very small, is just an overview of the code changes that staff has identified. Some of these are more housekeeping or code cleanup, while others are intended to streamline processes, and some are policy changes. The green items are changes that we've completed this year. The yellow items are ones we are currently prioritizing, and the ones without any highlight are the ones that are still, on the docket, but not being heavily prioritized at this time. I'm happy to answer any questions now or through email or anytime. But yeah, definitely want to keep it a little shorter. This one.
Thank you. Hey, draft outline of commission rules and procedures. Dana, you covering that or?
I can, yeah. I don't know if there was a second printout that wasn't part of the agenda, if that was able to get printed or not, but
It was.
it was? Okay, great. Okay. So, yeah, just an update. We were looking at consolidating the documents that we have as planning commissioners. There's a few of them. The main ones we were looking at obviously were the rules of procedure and the conduct of business, and they're two separate documents right now. We just thought they could be combined, and then as we looked into it a little further, there's some other documents that there's a whole appendix in the mayor and city council manual that I don't think any of us were aware of before we joined, and I'm not really sure if the council's aware of it either. So that's why I think we wanted to meet with council and get some clarity on that. It also discusses a work plan, which I don't think we were aware of either. So we're still looking to have a study session with council or some kind of meeting to go over these items. So I think it's like I don't have it open, the 15-page point. Well, I do have the agenda open. What am I saying? The one that's part of the agenda packet is, it's 12 points, 12 points. Yeah. So ending with an appendix, and then the one that was printed standalone is kind of consolidating it into 4 chapters, which is similar to the Lacey and Olympia Planning Commission guidebooks. So I think the big question is, do we want to try and put our efforts into creating a guidebook, or do we want to limit it to simply updating the rules of procedure and or conduct of business documents?
Dana, could I offer a few items based on what the people that are here are seeing.
Yep.
The draft outline that we've pulled together. And I believe you've got that from the agenda. That helps them understand what we mean by rules and procedures. What is the context and the content that we're looking at? And we've got the details that go behind each one of the roles and responsibilities, which is number 2, as well as the organization and officers, how we work with staff, and number 5, ethics and conflict of interest and fair process. And I won't need to read all of them. Basically, there's several sections that we've managed to glean from all of the materials. And what Dana has nicely done is to put together a way to present all of that in 4 sections, which is this hard copy. People that are attending that are providing feedback, don't have this, but it's something that I think, well, there's a 3-person team, Dana and myself, and Ashley, that have been working this. And we've got enough content now that we wanted to have you know what's in it. And what are rules and procedures that we need to all be aware of and to work through, and to see if this format for how we present them is acceptable to everyone. That's what I understood. Then it's that given all the materials, we're probably going to need a work session with the full commission to take what we've brought today and to talk through each of the details. It's for those your thoughts as well, following just presenting the outlines that we've got.
Yeah, and if anyone has any immediate thoughts, we can keep working on it in the meanwhile before we have a commission study session.
Okay, if I could make a suggestion, okay, as a standing right now, that the meeting, joint sessions, study session between the Planning Commission and the City Council is currently slated for December. I talked to the mayor just before the meeting here, so
Great.
What's that?
Oh, I said great.
So yeah, it's only taken a year.
Yeah.
But anyway, though, so it's supposed to be, like I said, a joint study session in December, so we can work on something beforehand, or if you want to opt and wait until we have that, because I think that there may be something that will come out of that joint study session to incorporate into this, because I know that we were wanting to try to come up with some ideas with the city council on different responsibilities that the planning commission can potentially do. So it's up to your group if you want to do that, or we can go ahead and make a motion to if that's what staff thinks that we should do to try to do a work session to come up with something. But
since we haven't gone through the details of the actual second document that currently Brandon, do you have, I know you have a copy because you submitted this to staff. to provide to us.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming we're all looking at the same thing, even though you're not looking at.
Dated August 14th
Uh,
on the top.
And
there's nothing on the top.
unfortunately, I'm gonna interrupt. As Drew said, our time is getting short because we're gonna get evicted out of the
Okay.
building here. So if we can come to a consensus real quick on the way forward on what you want to do.
I'd like to know what Ashley wants to do.
I would like to motion to direct the staff to plan a work session for our body to go over our preferences for moving forward with the rules of procedure versus the commission rules book.
I second that.
All in favor?
Right, so, yeah. I guess look at my.
What does your timeline look like for that? I guess I don't know what would be, I don't know what's being asked of us as staff at this moment.
I didn't want to apply any restrictions, so I don't have an exact timeline. My preference would be before December, but that I didn't want to give you any restrictions on.
Yeah, and I don't want to overcommit without Gary being here.
Yeah.
Would it be okay to maybe postpone this conversation to the next meeting?
I'd like to start getting something scheduled because I would like to have it before December so that we have something that we all understand, you know, before we meet jointly with council. So if we could at least have it as a proposal, and when Gary gets back, we could work with him offline. If this commission agrees that we want to do a work session, then we three that are on the subcommittee can work with Gary on how to go about that to try to get it on the schedule.
Now, honestly, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but being as that it's a work session, okay, that it's kind of off the book, so to speak. I mean, you know, it's just kind of a brainstorming session. So do we actually have to have it here or I mean, because if we're wanting to get together to hash this out prior to December, prior to meeting with the city council, because I agree with them as far as being able to get everything figured out as much as possible, you know, before we talk to the council, you know. So, but I mean, can we figure it out on our own on when we want to meet, conduct a?
It doesn't have to be on a Tuesday at 4:00. But it is a public meeting. We do have noticing requirements for special meetings and things like that.
Could we just say that within the next 90 days? Because 90 days puts us prior to our October meeting. That puts a bookend on it. It's like, hey, we know we want to have this meeting.
60 days, isn't it?
Is this August, September, October, November?
Well,
Yeah, okay. So 60 days, yeah. That gives us a little time to coordinate and then time to plan and then time to schedule that meeting. That be acceptable?
I appreciate the conversation, well, the discussion, and I want to purposely not put a date on it, an end date or a cap date, so that there's flexibility with the staff.
But if that's the case, though, then it could go beyond.
Do you think our staff would do that?
Well, no, I don't, but I'm just saying though, that if, you know, the main concern has come up that it's wanting to be done before our joint work session with the city council, well, there needs to be some kind of end date on it.
Maybe that's specific enough, is to do it before the December meeting.
I feel like I'm in a little bit of an awkward situation here because I'm not the one who coordinates. And I'm, you know, doing my best here.
Well, how about we do this? We make the motion to do it within the next
And seconded.
next 90 days. If
60
Gary,
days.
Okay, 60 days. If Gary, if there's something outside of there, then he can let us know and we can adjust accordingly. But at least we've got a way forward right now. So, I mean, does that work?
So the motion was made and seconded without a date. So
Okay.
that is the motion currently on the floor.
Okay,
So
so,
we need
We
to,
need to figure out if we all approve.
okay.
Or say, is there any discussion?
Well, yeah, I thought this was the discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't say, is there any discussion?
Okay, well, all right. I've been kind of going on, okay, the motion was no end date. Then it was brought up to have it done before the day with the city council. All right. What is it that is wanted? No date or before the meeting with the city council? So then we would do the motion according to, I mean, if we want to roll with a no date, then we'll go with that. Okay, if there's then I will continue with that. Or
so the original motion was with no date, with no end date.
Okay.
So that is what we should be
Okay.
discussing and then voting on.
Okay, so then we'll take the meeting with the council off the table as being a deciding factor on that. Okay, so the motion is for staff to get it on the books, for the planning commission to have a work session so we can get stuff together on the rules and procedures. With no date, is there any further discussion or ending of the motion? Okay, no, so again, the motion is for staff to get it on the books for a working group for the planning commission to work on the rules of procedures for the planning commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. The
Dana has a hand raised.
Dana?
Sorry, I meant to say aye. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the motion passes. So the staff will let us know when that can be scheduled, or we'll hear from Gary. Okay, so does that work? Satisfactory? Okay. Okay, Dana, did you have any additional comments on that?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, okay, there's no public hearing. Are there any subcommittee reports for the commission?
No.
No.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
I will get there. I will get there. I'm not there yet. Okay, as a note, like I said, I talked to the mayor. It's supposed to be getting on the books that there will be a joint working group between the planning commission and the city council in December. And he also told me that it will happen annually from here on. So every year there will be a meeting between the city council and the planning commission. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I made a motion and it was seconded.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 5:24 p.m.